Hi everyone, Bailey Whittle from Deep Creek Middle School here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to take a PDF and turn it into an interactive worksheet using Google Slides. So the thing you'll want to do is you will want to pull up your PDF file wherever you have it saved. This can be on your computer, this can be in Google Drive, which is where mine is, but just pull up that file on your computer. The next thing you want to do is you actually want to zoom out so you can see the whole thing at once. So if you go down here in Google Drive, you'll see that I can't zoom out anymore. It's as far out as it can go. So what you can do is in Firefox, the web browser I'm using, you can come over here to the menu and then you can hit on these little minus arrows to zoom out even more, which is what I had to do. The next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to pull up, whoops. The next thing you'll want to do is you will want to pull up the Windows snipping tool if you are on a Windows computer. So I'm going to do that by going into my Start menu, and then you can type in snip if you don't know where it is, and this is what you are looking for. So once this pulls up, once it loads, there we go. You want to make sure your mode is in rectangular mode, and then you'll see that the screen goes kind of gray and now you have this crosshair. So you're going to click and drag this crosshair over the section of the PDF that you want the students to fill out. Release it, and now you'll see that it has popped up. Now what you'll want to do is go back to your Google Drive, wherever you want to save it. I'm going to reset my zoom by going back to the menu, and then just click on this in the middle here and it resets it back to 100%. And you will want to go to New Google Slides and make a new Google Slides presentation. So I'm going to title this presentation Text Features Scavenger Hunt because that is the document that I am working with. And then you'll want to go to File, Page Setup, and I'm going to change my page size to custom, and it is going to be 8.5 by 11 inches, which is the standard size of a sheet of paper. I'm going to get rid of that themes box because I don't need it, and I'm also going to get rid of our title and subtitle boxes. Now, we're going to go back to the snipping tool, and I'm going to click on this Save Snip. This is going to save the image, and I'm just going to stick it in my downloads folder so that way I know where it is. And we will call this, well, it was supposed to say scavenger hunt, but we'll pretend that I know how to type. Now that we're back in Google Slides, you'll want to click on background and then choose an image for your background. And I'm going to upload it from my computer by going to Browse, My Downloads, and then I'm going to click on that image that I just saved. And then once it uploads, you'll hit Done. And now you can see that my PDF is now in my Google Slides. But the problem is that there's nowhere for the students to type. They can't type anything. So now what you have to do is add a shape for them to type in. I prefer to use shapes over text boxes because the shapes can be colored and it makes it very clear where students are supposed to type. So I'm going to go to Shape, Rectangle, and I'm going to draw my first rectangle over the name section. And then because I want this to stand out a little bit so students can see where to type, I'm going to make sure that it is gray instead of the white background. Let me actually make that a little bit darker. Now, if you're having problems seeing because it is so small while zoomed out, there are a couple things you can do to make your view larger. First, you can come over here to this little arrow. This is going to hide that top menu bar, which gives you more room. You can collapse the speaker notes, which also gives you more room. And then last thing is you can use the zoom in, and you could zoom into 100% to be able to see better. So we have our first shape here, and if you double click, you'll notice that I can now type my name inside of this. Now because you are on Google Docs, as you assign items to students, whether that be in Google Classroom or in Schoology, their names will automatically be associated with the document. So they won't need to put their name on here, but you will need to put a text box in the rest of these. So the easiest way that I have found to do this is to create one box that looks like exactly what you want. And I actually don't want an outline on this because I want the students to have as much room as possible to write. So once I have my first box ready, I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts Control C to copy and Control V to paste. This gives me a second box which I can then drag and resize to fit each box. So again, Control C to copy, and you have to do this when the blue box is around your text box so it's selected, and then Control V to paste. And now I'm going to resize this one to fit inside of my author box. And then same thing, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, click, drag, and resize to fit inside each of the boxes. So you would go through and do this process to anything that you wanted the students to fill out. So I have all of these description boxes down here. And I also have page number boxes down here. So this worksheet is just a little scavenger hunt that students can do with any book or article in the textbook, newspaper article, whatever, and they just find the text feature, tell me the page that they found it on, and then describe what that text feature was. So I'm not going to go through and copy and paste all of these, but you get the idea. You build your shape, you make it look like what you want, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and then you just click and drag these boxes and then resize them to fit your text area. So when the students are ready to type, you have to make sure that they double click. If they single click and then try to type, it will work. However, if they make a mistake and they single click and then hit backspace, it actually deletes the box. So you really need to train your students to double click so that the black cursor bar appears, and then they can type their answer in. If you were going to post this to Schoology or to Google Classroom, you would post it just like normal by adding a material from the Google Drive app in Schoology, or by finding this file in your Google Drive and posting it to Google Slides. Note that in Schoology it does automatically create a copy for each student, but in Google Drive you will have, in Google Classroom you will have to change that setting yourself. So one last time to recap. We found our PDF, we zoomed out and took a screenshot of the whole thing using the Windows snipping tool right here. Then we went to a new Google Slides, added that image as a background, and then we added in text boxes that the students can double click in to type their responses. And now your assignment is ready to post in your learning management system of choice. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this helped.